got the Texas Fan Better Podcast.
Jump Bridge, Fifth Ward, Crenshaw.
You know the best out there.
Keno, Bo Diggity 713.
To all my Texans Nation. If you feeling good, I want you to throw them H's up high. Yeah, like that. I see you. Let's swarm. Yeah, Houston, Texas, born and raised. Yeah, that's where I'm from. The best city in the state. Yeah, we stay turned up. There's excitement in the air for the Houston Texans. We swarming all year, causing havoc, we wrecking. Coming off that edge, we got 5-5-5-1. Thing on the outside, locking down your number one. All about the swarm mentality. And the H standing on business is the way we operate. I rep that 7 like CJ, that 1 like Diggs, that 3 like Dale. H-time we doing it big, you know that 12 out here. And don't you never forget, better pick your poison, cause we got Joe in the midst. We rock that battle red, still blue, Liberty white, H-time blue, drip galore, man, we so fresh, fire like the field. Shout out to the whole squad chasing greatness. Eyes on the prize, one goal, it's time to take it.
Let's get it.
Throw them H's up, throw them H's up. Now you throw them H's up, throw them H's up. We throw them H's up, throw them H's up. Let's show love for them Texans, cause them Bulls about to perform. Throw them H's up, throw them H's up. Now you throw them H's up, throw them H's up. We throw them H's up, throw them H's up. Let's show love for them Texans, cause them Bulls.
Hello, and welcome back to the Texans Fan Ball Podcast. I'm your host tonight, Matthew Briggs. Guys, we got a special guest. Before I introduce you, let me introduce my team swarm today. First off, I got my A1 since day one. I got Mr. Crenshaw in the building. Hey, what's up, Crenshaw?
What up?
All right. And then Kendall was here. I guess his computers decided to be like the Cowboys and just hop off. We'll see when he comes back in a second. But guys, if you know Texas Nation, you know him very well. He was on sports radio, but now he is on Locked On Texans with our fellow friend of the show. We got Mr. Stan Norfleet. How you doing, buddy?
What's going on, Houston? What's going on, man? Y'all doing a great job. I've been monitoring from afar. You know, it's been a minute since we had a chance to link up, but I appreciate y'all giving me a call. Now, y'all know I'm going to stay on brand, so y'all know it's going to be some ish when y'all get to talking about these Texans, but I'm going to be hard but fair.
Hey, that's all we ask, right? Hard but fair. That's all we ask, you know? And as I said, you know, his computer works like the Cowboys every now and then. We got Mr. Keno, the messenger himself. What's up, Keno?
What's good, everybody? I hope everybody's doing good, feeling good.
Well, Stan, you know, let's get it out in the open. Tell us, what is your personal expectations of the Houston Texans coming this 2025 season? What is Stan's season the Texans look like?
I think this is another, and I said this on our show, courtesy of the Locked On Pod, the Texan Squad show. I see the Texans going 10-7 in the regular season, mostly because the division is defunct. You know, the Indianapolis Colts, rather, they have a roster, the coaching staff, the GM may be on the hot seat, Anthony Richardson, Daniel Jones, what they got going on. The Jaguars have some talent, but what Trevor Lawrence we going to get? And then Tennessee, Cam Ward, many people are putting him in the same breath in terms of how he can rejuvenate and quickly in 1 year catapult a franchise back into notoriety, a la what CJ did in 23 and what Jaden did last year up in Washington. So the division is probably the worst division in the league. So I think the Texans will come through. I believe in D'Amico Ryan, I believe in the defense. And quite frankly, I trust in CJ's leadership and mostly his decision-making. Now, I think this is another one and done in the postseason. I don't think the 25 team is going to be the first in Texas history to make the AFC Championship game. I have my reasons, but you asked 10-7, one and done in the post.
Okay, all right. So does that kind of because of the offensive line, or is this another year of coaching under the belt?
I'm having a difficult time with this one. Like, we all know ball here. Right. So, like, help me understand. Completely new offensive line, or at least, 80% of it being new. Titus playing a new position. All right, fine. New offensive coordinator, O-line coach being promoted to the head O-line coach for the first time, but he was in the room last year when it looked like that. You get out, Tank Dell won't be back, Stephon Diggs out, and you bring Christian Kirk, who I respect. In the slot, he's one of the best to do it when he's healthy.
Mm-hmm.
But he's only played one game in December or beyond the past 2 years. Oh, then I'm going to go and get 2 rookie receivers out of the second and third round, respectively, not from Alabama, not from Ohio State, not from Clemson, not from Georgia, from Iowa State. And I'm going to hang my playoff hopes on that bunch collectively with CJ. And we all saw CJ get broken last year. I'm not mad at the most pressured quarterback in the league over the last 2 years. CJ got skittish in the pocket. So I believe they're going to do a whole reset on the offensive side of the football in an offensive league under a defensive-minded head coach, and that's what's going to get us into the second round and into the championship round. I'm not buying it with this year's team. And I respect what they're doing over there at NRG. It's no hate. I told D'Amico to his face, he has my support. But the roster is the roster. Right now, I don't see it.
Right. Yeah, they got to make believers out of you, right? Like, I mean, there's no hating that. The only thing that I kind of have faith in when it comes to offensive line, CJ Stroud's rookie year, this offensive line reminds me a lot of it, right? Like Tunzel was out the first first half of the season. Howard was out for the first half of the season. So you had all these pretty much like nobodies, right? Like these makeshift lines where they just plugged in. I mean, they were top ranked 15 offensive line that year. So I think with we see what CJ can do, but that's the question: can he do the same thing he did his rookie year with this line?
See, the difference for me, and I apologize if I'm speaking out of term here, but the difference for me is that offensive line had more talent. You had Laramie Tunzel, who's a reigning Pro Bowler, a perennial All-Pro at the position. Don't think he made it this year, but you had more talent. Like Shaq Mason is a better guard than both Titus is at right guard and Lakin Tomlinson is at left guard. And then when Titus is playing his position at right tackle, he's better than either Blake Fisher or Trent Brown or even Ariante Ursery, the first-round pick out of Minnesota, if they slot him over at the right side. So I understand your point, Chef B. I'm just saying I think that offensive line, even though they were banged up, Titus spent 2 different stints on IR that season in 2023. They were still overall better. And then the Lord did send us a godsend. We forget how good George Fant was at that right tackle spot that year. I don't see that. These dudes graded horribly, Cam Robinson included. Cam Robinson played left tackle on 2 different teams last year and then got jettisoned in the offseason. I just think the overall talent was better in 23.
No, I agree with you. Like I'm gonna wait and see what this line does before I say anything. Right? Like let's put up or shut up. Like if they come out and start off with a bang, cool. If not, all right, we got to go back to the chalkboard. And I don't know if we can do that. Kenneth, what do you think, boss?
Man, honestly, I see what Stan is saying, and I just try to like sit back and let's see what happens. That's how I see it. Like, because we don't know. Like, this line could mess around and be good, or it can be bad. My hope is it just don't be bad as last year. And of course, like it was some fingers pointed at Bobby. It was fingers pointed at the guy that stepped away, that retired. I can't remember his name. But I do get the point that Pop was in the room, but it was rumors, whatever the case may be, that he wasn't really running the room, man. He really didn't have much say so. That's what they say. Of course, like Titus been saying certain things about Pop, how he gonna have them doing this and that. So of course it's all good. Like we all just want to see it, and that's what we hoping for. We do know if this O line comes out and be top 15 at least, or I'm not even gonna say at least, like maybe top 17, top 18 at least. But if they can be at least 15 through 17, that will help this offense tremendously. That will help CJ tremendously, but of course it's a big if. Like, and so we all just waiting to see what's going to happen. I'm hoping for the best. I'm hoping because when you have, and just like that 2023 year, you had a bunch of guys that was on 1 year deals. What do guys do on 1 year deals? They ball out because they're trying to get paid. So hopefully Titus coming with that energy. Hopefully Cameron Robinson coming with that energy. I don't know if it's, of course, some made some, I guess I can say, excuses for him as far as with the Vikings system and stuff like that. At the end of the day, I'm just hoping that most of these guys on this line have a chip on their shoulder. I forgot who. I don't know if it's PFF ranking them 32 right now.
Yeah.
So I need them to take that to heart. Like we gonna have to see. Like at the end of the day, we gotta see if we got some dogs who like they know they already doubted. So and Titus, he trying to he feel like he has to step up to that leadership role. Honestly, we got to see like Titus, do you want to be back or do you want to bag elsewhere? You're gonna have to show up. So I'm not gonna say they're not gonna be good. I'm kind of hoping for the best, and I'm hoping that Nick Haley will be the difference when it comes to these play calls.
You got any rebuttal to that, Stan?
I think that's a reasonable take up until the very end. Like, we just saw this movie. I want to go see Jurassic Park, this new one that just came out. I hadn't seen it yet. Now, although I haven't seen it, we know what Jurassic Park is about. It's dinosaurs doing something to scare the bejesus out of people. He's going to eat some people going to die, some people going to make it. So I know what it is. So if I never see it, I got a general idea of what that is. D'Amico Ryans just moved on from a first-time play caller. And I'm talking about Bobby Slowik. They blamed Bobby for everything. I think we forget how that looked in 2023. Bobby had something to do with that. Now, did Bobby not have a counterpunch? Did Bobby and the quarterback having some issues? Yeah, it sounds like there were some personal things going on behind the scenes. They are singing the praises of Cole Popovich, Nick Caley, the offensive coordinator, but he's a first-time play caller. And so I'm looking at D'Amico going, you just did this. Now, I hope you're right. Maybe you hit on the guy. And this is a Ben Johnson or a young Matt LaFleur or a Kevin O'Donnell or a Zach Taylor in Cincinnati who are disciples of Sean McVay. But what if it's not? And that's why I come back and I look at the roster. I tell people this all the time. This is an old Bill Parcells-ism from my days inside the Cowboys front office. Hope is not a plan. And when I hear people talk about, I hope this offensive line plays well on 1 year deals, and I hope Cole Popovich can take the reins and they'll listen to him, and he seems to be liked in the offensive line room. I hope we get the best out of Cam Robinson. I hope these second-round receivers out of the Big 12 that has produced nothing of subsequent, in terms of playing on Sunday, not named CeeDee Lamb in the last decade. I've looked. So, like, to me, there's just a lot of hope, and I just reverberate that. Hope just ain't a plan, man. I think D'Amico, so people ask, and I'll shut up and come back to y'all. People ask, okay, Stan, you're the smart guy. What do you think they should have done? Well, I probably would have doubled down on another free agent. I probably would have took a look what's going on in that Devontae Adams sweepstakes, what's going on in that Cooper Kupp sweepstakes. I would have gone to look for, can I get Christian Kirk? But can I also find some money to go pay somebody else that's up? Amari Cooper is still out there, I believe, as a free agent. Go get somebody else that you know. This team needs to hit the ground running. They can't afford. Now, the division is going to give them some space, but in terms of how I think this team should be built for success in winning a championship, you need to be hosting playoff games, a la the Indianapolis Colts from the Peyton Manning year. Go score points early, get ahead, and unleash these pass rushers, man, and make life easier for CJ so he's handing the ball off to Joe Mixon. So I get it. I understand. It is a fair point by you, Keno. I just think that I've yet to see anybody give me something concrete, tangible that we've seen to make us think it's going to be okay. I'm just not there.
You sound like a lot like Crenshaw. So Crenshaw, talk to us. What is your take on it, brother?
Well, that's what I was gonna say. See, I like when Stan talk because Stan keeps it real, and when you keep it real in Texas Nation, they call you a hater. And you're not being a hater. You just telling it how it is because you're not looking through the same lenses that they look through. I'm with you. You said 10-7. I'm more 11-6 because of the division. One and done. I'm with you on one and done because I don't think they're better than the big three in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's the Ravens, Kansas City, and the Bills.
On the
But then
road.
on the road, because fans gonna say, "Oh, we beat the Bills last year." Yeah, at home, and we barely did that.
Yeah.
But it's too many questions. Offensive coordinator, the offensive line. It's too many questions coming into this year. CJ last year, CJ had happy feet. CJ didn't look like the same CJ because he was scared. Nico Collins, we know he's going to miss his 5 games this year. And then we got to depend on, like you said, those rookies from Iowa State that we don't know nothing about. We're just hoping, we're wishing, we're praying that it's going to be good, but we don't know that. And that's why I like when Stan talk, because Stan say shit that other motherfuckers don't want to say. You know what I'm saying? And that's why Matt said you sound like me, because that's what I be saying. You know what I'm saying? I don't hold back because I keeps it 100. You know what I'm saying? I want the team to do good. I mean, I love the team. See, ticket holders for a long ass time. But what's real is real. And I don't think we're there yet. You know, we still have coaching issues from our head coach. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, I wish he would have got a seasoned offensive coordinator, not another first time guy. We don't know nothing about this guy. He just because he came from the Rams, don't think we gonna be the Rams. So I just hope we, like you say, man, we come out, score a lot of points early, and let our good defense hold it down.
I
Yeah,
want to see them because I do agree. Like Crenshaw, no, we both agreed on this. We thought that what's his name that went to Washington,
Cliff
um,
Queensberry.
Noah
Cliff
Brown?
Kingsbury. That's what we wanted.
Who?
When we saw that
Cliff
interview,
Kingsbury 2 years ago.
Oh, Cliff Kingsbury. Oh, yeah.
yeah, like when we saw that we was interviewing, we was hoping for that to happen, but it didn't happen. And my thing is, I know we don't have the proof for me to say this, but I kind of feel like Nick Caley will be better. I will say he's more seasoned than Bobby when it comes to the offense because he has been around, New England when they had Tom Brady and their offense, and then of course he been around McVay. So I feel like he is more seasoned than Bobby Slower. Now, of course, yeah, I do be saying I hope because I'm a true fan at heart. But dude, when we get realistic, yes, it can be bad. You know what I'm saying? We don't know what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? We can hit the doggone season and the offensive line could be worse. You know what I'm saying? And CJ still got happy feet and he's getting hit after 3 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Like all this stuff is it's possible. And the main thing is that's what we really like thinking like, man, if this offensive line can hold up, you know what I'm saying? Maybe they're gonna have something shaking. You know, even though yes, we might not have a lot of weapons as far as like, yes, we have Nico, yes, we have Christian Kirk that's kind of injury prone. They're both kind of injury prone. And then we got the rookies. So that is like the head scratcher, but also we can't forget we got Joe Missing and we also got Nick Chubb. So at the end of the day, I just feel like everything really comes back to the O line. And that's why I'm like excited to see how they're gonna look. That's if this O line is trash, yeah, we're going 10-7. But if this O line is good, we might be better than what we think we're gonna be. So I think it's really all on the offensive line. Of course, can Nick Kelly adjust? Because we all know that was Bobby's issue last year. He didn't adjust. He just kept doing the same thing over and over again.
Especially on first down.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's
I just want to add one piece before I come to you, Shelby. Like, the few people in the city, and I don't want to say this because it's not casting aspersions on any of the fellow media members, but this is just the real of it. The way this works in the National Football League. I tell this to people all the time. Never believe that the 11 men that run out there on offense, defense, or special teams are the best 11. There's always agendas. There's always politics. It's the same way in the front office from a coaching standpoint. You know the reason why D'Amico keeps going to get these first round or these first time play callers? Because he knows if you go to get a guy like Kingsbury, if it gets bumpy, people going to start whispering behind the scenes, maybe we should turn things over to that dude. So D'Amico is being advised, I believe, by his agent. I think he's represented by Jimmy Sexton. Don't quote me on that. But Jimmy is going to tell all his guys relative to their situation, be careful how you build your staff. So that's why I told D'Amico, I get it. Just go get somebody veteran that has been there, done that. I'm making up somebody here. Jason Garrett is making great money on television. I'm just giving you a name. I'm not saying him specifically, but I'm saying somebody in that situation. Somebody that wants to be in the game, that wants to make a decent amount of money, but they've already had their head coaching opportunities, and they cool with being a coordinator. He's doing this one-time play caller thing for a reason, and I hope it's not to the detriment, and I want you all to hear me clearly. My comments are also tied to not just winning a Super Bowl, but doing so while CJ Stroud is on a rookie contract.
Absolutely. The window is closing.
The window is closing, yes.
Fast. No, I agree with you. And it's not just his agent, too. I mean, Nick Casario is probably telling them the same thing, right? Like, Nick Casario don't want to hear the whispers because that's just another thing he has to deal with, right? That's just another thing he has to fix. So I see where you're coming from. But I'm glad Crenshaw mentioned this because I'm the type of person, let me see it before I start judging. Okay? If it, like Kendall says, offensive line comes out and kills it, we got to be contenders, right? We like the floor. The ceiling is 13 games, and the floor has got to be like 11, 12. If the offensive line comes out gelling, right? But I'm glad Crenshaw brought this up. My biggest concern has D'Amico learned his lesson because in Green Bay, almost in Houston against Buffalo, against Detroit. I mean, there's several games. You can go back to CJ's rookie shot. We shouldn't have lost that game to the Falcons.
The Falcons, the Jets.
Yeah, absolutely. Like there's so many games that he plays for the clock instead of playing for the win. And all those games I mentioned are proof. So I need another year of see if D'Amico finally learned his lesson. Hey, we can't be doing that. We got to put the foot on the pedal. I mean, how can you pick off Jared Goff 5 times and still lose on prime time? On prime time, like I mean, that's kind of where you get your respect from everybody else in the NFL, and that just kind of slap in the face.
It is.
But this is where like I agree with you, Stan. But this is where I like a Doug Peterson, like a guy like that coming in as an offense coordinator. Say
Mike McCarthy.
Mike McCarthy. I mean, Jason Garrett probably wouldn't do it, but Jason Garrett, like, there's a lot of offensive guys that Clint Kubiak, he was still there at the time. I mean, he's seasoned. He has experience. Plus, his dad could give advice, like, okay, D'Amico, instead of this, let's do that. Instead of that, let's do this, because we do blame a lot on Bobby Slowick of not adjusting. But we got to also give some, give that little hate towards D'Amico. I'm not hate, but criticism to D'Amico for not adjusting.
The buck stops with him. Absolutely.
Right.
Now, listen, I said this and I pissed off some folks, and you know me, I don't really give a damn, but some people was hot with me because I said, look, I'm not saying that D'Amico's seat is hot by any stretch. Let's just say they go one and done again. You can't blame it on Bobby Slowick and Nick Strauss anymore. So if they go one and done again, they lose on the road at Kansas City for 2 consecutive seasons. Who's going to take the heat? It ain't CJ. Hell, the offensive line is on 1-year deals anyway, everybody except Titus and the rookies or the young guys, Scruggs and Blake Fisher and obviously Arante Ursery. So, like, who takes the fall? And I started doing some homework, and I'm stuck on this offensive side of the ball. The defense, I'm not worried about much at all. I'll be honest with you. I think that's a top 5 defense in terms of performance and talent. They got a couple places that I'd like to see some improvement. We'll see what they do going through training camp, roster cut down, and then into the season at the trade deadline. But offensively, look at the Nick Casario draft picks. I count 17 on offense outside of these rookies. How many offensive players has Nick Casario hit on? I count 3, really 2.5. Nico, CJ, and Tank Dell whenever Tank is healthy. Now, Tank is often injured. So I'm going to count that 2.5. 2.5 out of 17, even if you count Tank as a full one, 3 out of 17 is like a 17% hit rate on offensive players. At some point, somebody, if they're one and done again, it ain't going to be Miko. Nick is on the last year of his contract. So what does that done? I'm not trying to push anybody out the door, but we all know this game, I've been fired from the league. This game is results oriented, period. And that's all I'm talking about here. It's not personal. So I ask y'all, if this thing is another one and done, what changes reasonably do we think they would make?
I mean, you're right. Like you kind of have to look at the GM, right? I mean, like you said, three out of 17. If he was an MLB hitter, he'd be on the bench or called down to the AAA, right? Like so. I mean, defense wise, like he's hitting some good strides, but this is the NFL. Today's era is all about offense. Nobody cares about defense no more, except for coaches and players. Like everybody wants to see people scoring 30 points a game, at least 30 points a game, and that's what our offense was supposed to be last year. And I don't think we made it to 20. So like, you got to look at the mirror at some point, right? Like you got to look inside to see what can change. Crenshaw, what you got?
Yeah, I mean, it's not what people want to hear. They're gonna be like, "Well, Casario built this, he did that." Now think about it like this, fellas. If the Panthers would have took CJ, we would have took Bryce. You know what I'm saying? So we only got CJ because the Panthers took Bryce. That's it. So you can't say, "Oh, he did great on that pick right there." And then for us, the defense, if we didn't have D'Amico Ryans, would his defense be as good as it is? You see what I'm saying? So at some point we gotta like, hey man, if you can't get it done, bro, we gotta move on. Now, to who, I don't know. Maybe they need to stay away from New England and get somebody else. You know what I'm saying? And we do need to do something in CJ's rookie year because once that contract comes in, unless he's gonna give us one of those Patrick Mahomes deals, 10 years, it's gonna be hard to win. It's gonna be hard to win because everyone's gonna get paid. Like Will Anderson, oh man, he's gonna have another great year. He's gonna get paid too. So we got to figure it out, man. I'm tired of losing. I'm tired of going to the barbershop, got a cap, tell people, oh, this, and that, man. I'm tired of that shit, man. I'm ready to win. Like, can I win before I get older? You know what I'm saying? God damn. Is that too much to ask for?
And that's got to be the goal for me. And Keno, I know I'm stepping on your toes a little bit there, brother. But like the goal here for me, and that's where my commentary, and I have a slogan, and the game of football has changed my life. It has given me access to things that I've never dreamt. Been in the room with men and women I've never dreamt of. So like I'm loyal to the game first, then my teams. And I am an advocate. I've worked over there. I have very close friends that have played over there. You know what I mean? Like I love the organization. I do. But they are not above reproach when the situation warrants asking. And in an offensive league, and quite frankly, the McNairs they are culpable in this too, meaning, and I'm not saying it's all doom and gloom. I'm excited. Anything can happen in this league. You can have a Washington Commanders moment and make it to the title game. Like we've seen the Jacksonville Jaguars. We've seen the Tennessee Titans. They were up double digits in the fourth quarter of the AFC Championship on the road at New England with bleeping Tannehill at quarterback. So anything can happen week to week. That's why we love it. But at the end of the day, and I've done the homework, there are 11 coaches in the National Football League. That means a third of the coaches in the league are defensive minded. Other than Bill Belichick, you got to go back to 2013 Pete Carroll's Legion of Boom to find a defensive-minded head coach that has won a Super Bowl. Look who's getting busy right now. Andy Reid, Sean McVay. What's going on? I'm thinking about who am I leaving out? Sirianni, and before him in Philly, Doug Peterson. These are offensive minds that are winning Super Bowls. So when you're going to hit your wagon, culturally, D'Amico came in and did his thing. But now the goalpost has moved, pun intended. This should be about hosting the Lombardi. And when you trot out that offense, including that line, to start week one, people with good sense have reason to be concerned. Nick Casario, you've done some excellent work. The haul they got for cashing in on Deshaun Watson in the midst of that fiasco, bravo. Going to get Joe Mixon, bravo. Landon Steph Diggs, bravo. Going to get Aziz and Daniil, cleaning up the salary cap, bravo. But bro, on that offensive side of the football, you with a 17% hit rate. We got a problem. It's an offensive league. And so you look at where the money is, the Texans, I think, are spending the ninth most money in the league on offense. So somebody is going to have to pay the piper if this results in the same thing. We all know the definition of insanity.
Yep. Keep repeating the same thing over.
All right. I got one for you, Stan. I got one for you, Stan. Okay. I know this is gonna piss some people off. Okay.
Why
Let's
you gonna
go
make me
back.
scared?
Let's go back 2 or 3 years, and a guy that a lot of Texans fans were like, fuck no, man, this guy's too old. He's this, he's that. What if we would have had the same exact team with Sean Payton? How would this team look to you? Sean Payton is the head coach.
Listen, man, you got a chance to get Sean Payton, and I said it in real time. I said, man, I think D'Amico would be dynamic. He did exactly what I thought he would do. Infuse optimism, discipline, structure. He would rally the fan base and the organization. At the same time, though, see, D'Amico knows he's got to go stand on that sideline, and he's done it. He got to go stand on that sideline on the other side from Andy Reid. You got to get over that mountain. We know what Baltimore, they 0-3 versus Baltimore in the D'Amico Ryans era and 0-2 versus Andy Reid and the Chiefs. Hey, man, can you go be better than that dude? And CJ's a baller, and I do believe that CJ Stroud, one of these days, will play in a title game and maybe a Super Bowl. But D'Amico's going to have to get better at his job too. And he knows that. If he were honest, if he were on the show, he'd tell you there's some things that got to get better. And I think Casario's job is to give D'Amico enough ingredients not to just be successful. You got to go do the whole thing. And if we all think back to the playoff loss at Baltimore and the playoff loss at Kansas City, with what I said was a more talented offensive line than what they're going to try out there this year. What was the problem at the end of the day? It was Nico Collins, Dalton Schultz, and they got some production from the backfield. But when you roll coverage to Nico, he's a baller, but you could take any one man out the game. There was nothing else to step up in critical moments and relieve that offensive pressure. So, again, I'm trying to get out of the doom and gloom space, but you bring in a guy like Sean Payton, and it's no surprise what he's doing with Bo Nix in Denver in 1 year.
Right.
They got a good defense. They got 5 All-Pros on that team. Texans have 1. And I'm just like, Sean Payton has the ability and has proven with the right personnel. He's hungrier now because he got something to prove, given how things ended in New Orleans. I think this team, if you're asking me, Stan, the last 2 years, would the Texans have a better record if Sean Payton had been the head coach? My answer is yes. I think the record would have been better with the same personnel. The hard part is we don't know if Sean would have signed off on the same personnel that D'Amico has.
Right. And that kind of goes back to Nick Caserio, right? Like, we all know that Sean Payton, he likes control of what color pencils are on his desk. Like, so I don't think Nick Caserio was bringing him in for that headache, right? Like, he didn't want no, back and forth. It was his guys, and he'll help get whoever they want. So I agree with Crenshaw, but at the end of the day, I don't think Nick Caserio was bringing him to Houston.
That's true, man. But man, Sean Payton has one less win than D'Amico in a way tougher division. Okay, I'm done. Ken, you can go, man.
No, man, I agree, man. I will say I was frustrated. Don't get me wrong, man. I was frustrated when I saw the Nick Caley signing, and I'm just like, bro, y'all couldn't try to go get Doug, Chip Kelly, or some veteran person that's been a head coach, that's an offensive coach, and been an offensive head coach. You know what I mean? Like, we need somebody with experience. So I tapped into my fandom, and I was just like, you know what? Let's see. Did Caley been through? You know what I'm saying? He, like I said, he was in New England with McVay. Of course, the hoping comes in, but if he's not the answer, if he doesn't prove anything in year 1, then yeah, so we definitely got to look at Miko like, all right, Or what's going on? Like, why aren't you trying to get somebody that's seasoned as an offensive coach? Because if you have that, we can possibly win a Super Bowl or at least go to the Super Bowl if you have an experienced offensive coach. But like we saying, that window is closing, so it's like, man, Nick Caley got to hit. He got to come in honestly on fire off the rip. I know it's first time play caller, but he seriously has to come in off the
Game
rip
one.
or something.
Yeah,
Because if he
right.
don't, it just it's we're gonna have to pay CJ after next year. So that is like the head scratcher, and it's like,
And Will Anderson, both of them. We're gonna have to pay
yeah,
both.
Well, I
So,
think they're
they
gonna end
both
up
will get paid.
franchising one and paying the other.
right.
And the franchise number on Will is obviously less than the quarterback market. So I think they're gonna kick the can down the road on Will.
As of now, I mean those edges are getting paid. I mean, right now, I mean, ooh
I
boy.
mean, you still got to get the TJ Watt deal got to get done, and the
Mhm.
Micah Parsons deal got to get done, and the Trey Hendrickson deal has got to get done. Look, Will Anderson is making money by not playing right now. Like Will is just like
Yeah,
the ante is being upped, and you know what that quarterback market looks like. So they got to get ready to pay people. I get it.
So here's my thing about it too with the whole Nick Caley thing. Again, I'm a guy. Let me see it before I make judge because
For sure.
I can say, oh, this guy's gonna suck monkey balls, and he come out and be the best offensive coordinator we ever seen. So I'm just waiting. But the thing that that not impressed me, but kind of had me high hopes is he wasn't coaching defense 4 years ago. That's the thing that kind of had me head scratching. He's only been on offensive side 2 years or a year before D'Amico says, "Hey, you're my offensive coordinator." So I'm like, that's not okay, D'Amico. I trust you. You know, I'm gonna ride with you. So now Nick Caley has more experience, and he has tight end experience. So hopefully he can fix whatever's happened with Dalton, improve. I think Cade Stover is going to be a good tight end. Give Brevin Jordan a healthy season because we've seen what he can do when he's healthy.
He's healthy. Yeah.
Again, Nico Collins, Kirsten Kirk, they're all always hurt. So we gotta have people healthy. But here's my thing. Saying you talk about the losses. The Baltimore game that was completely they just gave up on spying Lamar Jackson in the playoffs. Which I mean, Christian Harris had his number. He
Chris
had
Harris had a hell of a
had his
game.
lunch,
Yeah.
and then the second half they quit doing it and he got hurt, and then that's when the snowball turned into the avalanche. Well, last year, even though that we were down, we had them beat by every stat line. We had them beat. We had most yards, time of play. Like we had everything, most rushing yards, everything. But here's what got us beat: 3 times. Bobby Slowick put Dalton Schultz on George Karlaftis, and
Got
all
glued
three
on him.
times
Yeah.
he got sacked. So this is the only thing I want Nick Caley to do. If it fails, don't do it again. At least don't not in the same drive. Why are you gonna put Cade Stover against
He put Cade Stover against Minnesota against Jonathan Grenard. I'm like,
that's
what are we
what I was gonna
doing?
bring up. That's what I was gonna bring up twice.
I'm
Not
like,
once,
what are
but
we doing?
twice.
Like, he can't block him.
Right. Well,
So
not all straight off the line. You're gonna do that. Do a chip block, right? Like do something. Don't put him on the line. He's gonna get 8. A rookie.
have a quick play. Don't have no play that needs to develop for
Right.
about 4 or 5 seconds.
So I have a different perspective on the Kansas City game. I think 2 things, and I say this all the time on the shows that I'm on. Multiple things can be true at the same time. It's not always one thing.
Right.
What you said in terms of, offensively putting people in disadvantaged situations from a Bobby Slowick standpoint, yes. Not having enough personnel on the field. Thank God for Joe Mixon. I want to talk about him before we get off this call. But at the same time, defensively, and well, there's another one. That's not Kansas City's best version. That's why it didn't surprise me they got beat in the Super Bowl. That's a down Kansas City. They didn't have Rashee Rice. They were a shell. I shouldn't say a shell. They weren't at least offensively, they weren't at full speed. What hurt and what the game was for me in Kansas City is Andy Reid got the best of D'Amico because he said, I'm willing to bet Henry Toto and Aziz Al-Shire can't guard my future Hall of Famer in Travis Kelce. And the Texans got destroyed in the middle of the field.
And putting the guy who just went to Jacksonville, Eric Murray, on single coverage to Travis Kelce.
It was a bad plan.
It was. I agree 110% with you. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So, look, I think there is hope. Like perhaps Nick Caley. All right, here you go, Keno. Listen, Nick Caley is a former tight end position coach. Maybe we do get the best out of Dalton Schultz, and he looks more like 2023 Dalton Schultz. That will certainly help alleviate some of the pressure from Jaden Higgins having to come in. People keep talking about he's like Nico. It took Nico 3 years. We don't have 3 years. We're trying to go get this money right now. So I'm like, where can we alleviate the pressure? And I said this earlier, and I've been proven to be right from this standpoint. When I looked at what they did in the offseason, and I looked at who they brought in, and I started connecting dominoes, and then we learned later, because CJ told us, they're going to expect CJ Stroud to be Brady-esque. Mm-hmm. Get the ball out quick, make the right decision. We're going to run the bejesus out the football. This offensive line is not going to have to protect as long. CJ is going to have the power to change the protection and audible at the line of scrimmage with a different level of latitude that he did not have the last 2 years under Bobby. And so we're going to let defense, special teams run the ball, and we'll occasionally take our shots. That's what's going to get us in the AFC title game. That's just not modern football. And all due respect, C.J. Stroud's not Tom Brady and D'Amico's not Bill Belichick. I think it's not the best plan as opposed to what they could have done.
No, yeah, I agree. Like honestly, I agree with you on that, on Mark Cooper, and he's still out there. It will make sense for us to, give him a 1-year deal and bring him in because it's insurance for one, and him being a number 2, that is perfect for him. So yeah, it's a lot of stuff that I look at Nick Caley and D'Amico, and I'm just like, what's going on? Like, why not? This guy's right here. You know what I'm saying? Amari Cooper seems like he would be that type of guy that you would love in your locker room, the swarm mentality. He just goes
Alabama guy.
Mm-hmm. Alabama guy. So
you know what I mean?
Yeah. So that hopefully, I guess they're gonna wait and see how these young guys look in the preseason or in training camp and see how that goes before they make their decision. But
and they
don't have to act on it.
Yeah, Briggs, they still believe to some degree, like John Mechie and Xavier Hutchinson have to know this is the biggest camp in both of their professional careers. I mean, both of those guys, quite frankly, could be out of pro football if they don't go put some good tape up in these joint practices and these preseason games. So maybe one of those guys emerges and they can give us something. Remember how critical Noah Brown was in 23?
Mm-hmm.
At Cincinnati, Noah Brown was money. You needed that. So maybe it's Hutch or Mechie gives them something.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I think I done gave up on Mechie. Like, love him as a person, but I think I done gave up as far as Mechie on the football field. I don't know, man. Like, I'll be telling my homie he an Alabama fan, so he pro Mechie to the fullest. But I just be telling, man, he might be cut. Honestly, respectfully,
it could be tough. Like I said, when I was coming up in the scouting ranks, they used to say that you give a player 3 years. Really, this is John Mechie's 3rd season on the field, given coming back from the ACL and as well as the cancer diagnosis. So maybe the light bulb comes on this year. I like the kids, same as you, and I need somebody that has been through the fire a little bit. Now, we've seen rookies come into this league and tear it up. Brian Thomas Jr., you saw what Malik Neighbors did a year ago. Like, those boys got busy. But do we believe that Higgins and Noel are on that level? I don't. I think they're ballers. I'm not mad at the team for selecting them. I'm just simply acknowledging, were there some better options given what you needed to do, given how the postseason ended up the last 2 years?
Yeah, I agree. And it's definitely as far as Jaden Higgins, it's like you look you look at his size, pause. I don't need Crenshaw saying that.
I'm
But
44 years old, man. I ain't dealing with no damn pause. I'm past that.
yeah, Crenshaw, he the guy that's
Crenshaw
gonna
needs
say
to stop
that.
that.
So I gotta say that. But you know what I'm saying? You look at him, and you see he's fast, he's quick. You know what I'm saying? And he got some speed on him for a big guy. And of course,
Yeah.
you like at the end of the day, the only when it comes to rookies, all you can do is hope because you don't know what they're gonna be. So I definitely understand that aspect of having two rookie receiving. It's like you can't just say, "Oh, they're gonna go out there and ball and go crazy," because you just never know. You just
Don't know.
something you just have to wait and see. So yeah, we definitely need some insurance. I believe in. We can't. I wasn't with the Christian Kirk trade. Yes, it was cheap, but that wasn't something that I was excited for. Of course, if he stays healthy, yes, he can be, you know what I'm saying, a good guy on the field we need along with Nico, but that's the problem. We don't know if that's gonna happen. We don't know if it's the same with Nico. We like Chris said, he might miss 5 games. So
Yeah.
we really banking on two rookies. Because I'm sorry, like I said, I'm done with Messi. I'm honestly done with Hutch as well.
Come
So
on, man. Get Hutch some.
I feel like these are role players that need to be on special teams. Like I, I'm hoping that these rookies are better than both of them. That's what I'm hoping for. Because if they not, then we in some serious trouble. We have serious problems on our hands.
I see, Chef. I know you want to get back in here, brother. I'm just looking at Eric Ashton 26 over here in the comments. He says Higgins will do numbers this year. Just watch. I think Higgins gonna make some plays, and we're gonna go, okay, there it is. There's that second pick in the second round and the first second round in the history of the league with a guaranteed contract. That's not my point. My point is it going to be enough? Some people think Luther Burden III out of Missouri was a better wide receiver. The Bears, Ben Johnson is over there in Chicago saying, thank God the Texans didn't take my guy. I'll take Luther Burden III. And people kill me in the city. I wish Crenshaw was in here to hear this. People kill me in the city being in love with these two receivers from Iowa State. You
Oh,
didn't
I'm
watch
here.
Iowa State football. You don't know what the hell they'd have done. Give me a Big 12 wide receiver, not named CeeDee Lamb, that has done anything of consequence in the National Football League in the last decade. Hollywood Brown is on his third team, and he's got a 1,000-yard season. We're going to need Higgins to be bigger and better than that. This year, I'm saying, this year.
Yeah.
He may turn into be Nico 3 years, but like I said, this is about the right now. Chef B, you got it.
No, go
Stan.
ahead.
I mean, they was hyping up Hutchinson when we got him because they looked at his numbers and everything
And
from
Hutch
the
was
same
better
Hey,
than
Stan,
him.
school.
hold
From
on.
the
This
same
is what
school.
Crenshaw
Yes.
can't do. Crenshaw, hold up.
I'm just
Crenshaw
saying.
tries to compare Hutchinson to Jaden Higgins.
He
And I
should.
hate that comparison.
He should.
Why? They are
Higgins
two
was
different
first team
receivers.
All-America, led the nation and led the Big 12 in receptions. I think he was number 2 in the NCAA in receptions when he came out. The only reason Hutch isn't a second round pick like Higgins is because he ain't run 4.47.
Joe Mixon was quietly.
Another thing I was gonna say, I wanted Luther. I was pissed about that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was upset. I saw Jaden Higgins. I'm like, all right, here we go. Luther was right there, and I'm looking like I've been studying Luther. Great route runner. He kind of give me Odell vibes a little bit, and he's explosive. He good run after the catch guy, strong hands. I really wanted Luther, but we went Jaden Higgins route, and then when we got Jalen Noel, I felt a little bit better because you got two receivers that are different. But at the end of the day, we gotta
Now,
hope for the best. We gotta hope they.
when it comes to those two guys, like I am a Higgins fan. I think we did get a steal out of Noel, but to me, I think it was a good pick. Don't get me wrong, but I think it was a safe pick on Nick Caserio's part because who are their comps all the time? Nico Collins and Kirsten Kirk. So like, you got the same guy. So to me, it feels like okay, like Crenshaw says, Nico's gonna miss his five games. Well, we got his backup playing right here. Kirsten Kirk's out for 6 games. We got his backup right here. So to me, instead of elevating the offensive playmakers, we just kind of got the same
You compliment.
Right. You got the same guys. So hopefully it works out. I think they're going to be good. But again, I got to see it. You got to make me a believer. I got to see it to believe it.
For
I
sure.
was
And
not a
these are
believer
the
in Tank
reasons.
Dell. When
Yeah.
Tank Dell emerged on the scene, when they took Tank Dell in the third round,
Me
clearly
and
I saw
Crenshaw
the
was,
ability,
me
but
and
I didn't
Crenshaw
think
was
Tank
against
Dell,
it. We
I
were
didn't think
against
he was going to have the season he just had. I was like, man, good Lord. Oh, I'm glad I thought about this. Who had this? I saw this on CBSSports.com projected what the stat line would be for Higgins this year. They predict 38 receptions, 528 yards, 3 touchdowns. That ain't going to cut it.
You don't
Hey,
need no credit.
and me and Crenshaw got a bet.
Or what's
Me
the
and
bet?
Crenshaw got a bet. So look, I bet Crenshaw that he will get over 600 yards. And Crenshaw is the 6 touchdowns or 7? It's
7
one of those.
touchdowns.
How many?
7 touchdowns. You said
7
7
touchdowns.
touchdowns.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna need him to come through for me. I'm gonna
I
need
don't
him to
know.
come through.
You're going to lose that bet.
Yeah, Crenshaw, you might have to. Hey, I support you on that one. I might have to double down, Keno. Like, what's going on? And so some
Hey,
people, they get on me because they think I'm down on the kid. The kid has an opportunity to go prove himself. It's not about that. And there are going to be moments that he balls. But we'll find out in January, in December and January, when everybody's banged up, when you hit that rookie wall, when you got to go up in Baltimore, Kansas City, and Buffalo, and there go Joe Burrow on the other sideline with Zach Taylor, and they've been to a Super Bowl, and here come Hendrickson and Stewart off the edge. When it get real, we'll find out.
Well, Stan, I know we got to let you go here soon, but you said you want to talk about Joe Mixon. So I want to show you a video that I seen the other day, and I want to get your thoughts because we're trying to get these guys on the show. They're called off the cuff pod. It should be called off the Jaguars nuts because that's all they do is Jaguars nuts. So, but here, let me make sure it has audio and all that. Okay. All right. So this is what they say about Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon was quietly bad last year. He was one of those. He had a big September, week 6 champ sort of guy, and then we all kind of just excused the rest of the season. Blame Houston's O-line, blame Joe Mixon. I'm just going to blame them both. I'm taking Brees Hall easy right now.
I think Dallas is just purely more athletic, simply put, and he's a better pass catcher. So, I mean, I don't see a scenario where you put them in the same offense and Brees does not perform them today.
I feel like Joe Mixon is a bigger tone setter, though.
You must be forgetting what Brees Hall did in the NFL already.
I think Mixon, though, he's a guy that's going to get you to that first down line. He's one way or the other. I don't know if I can really say about Brees. Brees is your playmaker, though. So I think it's closer than we are making it seem, personally.
Yep.
But I do think it's Brees.
All right. So now
Joe Mixon was quietly bad.
What do you think?
He was one of those.
I think these are some nerds that are not real astute in the game of football. And quite frankly, to be fair for them, they may not be as nuanced in specifically what was going on down in and down out over here in RG. I got some numbers of my own because I'm a little bit of a nerd myself, so I can respect that. Joe Mixon, 1,016 yards on the ground, 11 touchdowns, 1 receiving touchdown. That's in 14 games played. We all know that was an illegal hip drop tackle. He's still dealing. Yeah, he's still dealing with those hip drop tackles. So I'll keep that there. Pro Bowl in 2024. ESPN.com just ranked Joe Mixon currently the 9th best running back in pro football heading into the 2025 season. He was honorable mention after the 2024 season. All right, but here's one that really stands out, and I don't think people understand this, and then I'll get to how good I think Joe Mixon has been, at least last year, and what I think we can predict coming into this season. Joe Mixon, the only player with 1,300 scrimmage yards and 9 touchdowns in each of the past 4 seasons. Not Derrick Henry, not Saquon, None of those Kyron Williams and all that. Not Bijan Robinson. I know he ain't been but that long. Like Joe Mixon, who averaged 4.1 yards a carry last year, or excuse me, over his 8-year career, 4.1 yards a carry. I said this on the show when people called in, and I thought I was going to lose my job at that time. I lost it later, but nonetheless, I thought I was going to lose my damn job. Hear me clearly. You ready? Hyperbolic for some, but if you think about it, it makes all the sense in the world. Joe Mixon is the heart and soul of the team last year, and he is the heart and soul of the team this year. He's the most valuable player over there, not named C.J. Stroud. Stan, that's absurd. Will Anderson and Stingley and all those other people. I get that. Answer me this. If Joe Mixon goes down, and he's likely going to miss some games, he's been relatively durable as of late outside of the hip drop tackles. Do we know what Nick Chubb is? I've been fighting for Damian Pierce. I still haven't given up on DP. I sure the hell ain't trusting Dare Agumbawale to run me to a victory over a division foe or the Denver Broncos defense coming up in here, or you got to go face that Buccaneers defense or the Rams defense to start the year. So if Joe isn't there, now you're one-dimensional. And you remember how Baltimore played downhill when Motor Singletary was in the backfield at Baltimore in that playoff game? And Nico was out there by himself. Kyle Hamilton, before the snap, when they broke the huddle, the damn safety was down there standing over the top of Nico. If Joe Mixon isn't in that backfield, it makes the Texans one-dimensional, and it's ball game. I don't believe they can score consistently without Joe Mixon running the football. He's the most valuable player on that team, not named C.J. Stroud.
Well, also here's a couple more stats for you, Stan, that you can have for your arsenal. He scored 83% of our second half touchdowns last year. I know it wasn't many, wasn't many at all, but he was 83%, and also 50.6% of the time of every snap he got hit behind the line.
Yeah, behind the line.
50.6%.
Yeah.
Just imagine you had a line to run block. Just imagine you had a line to get off that first step. What he would be past 1,000 yards. He'd be past 9 touchdowns, right?
Sure.
Like, I don't think he gets the love that he deserves. And that guy says, look what Breece Hall has done in the NFL. Okay, have you not seen what he's done his whole career? I mean, Mixon has been the most consistent thing we have seen from running back outside of Derrick Henry. From point A to point B. You can only name 2 guys that have been the same, and that's Derrick Henry and Joe Mixon. I mean, I might be a little biased, but that's how I see it.
Yeah,
no, I agree with y'all.
Go ahead,
You know
Ken.
how I feel about Joe. Like that. Look, and I agree to that point. He is, because the thing is, when it comes to defense, it takes a collective. Yes, Will Anderson is great. Yes, Danielle Hunter is great. Yes, Derek Stingley is great. But it's a collective thing. When it comes to this offense, if the O-line not good and Joe Mixon still doing what he's doing, it says an awful lot about him. Without Joe Mixon, like you just said, Matt, he scored a lot of our second half touchdowns. But without Joe Mixon, this offense might not do not much of nothing at all, honestly, because, yes, CJ had happy feet. So that's another reason why we really need this O-line to be better, because if they are better, then that takes more pressure off of Joe Mixon. Then that helps when Nick Chubb come in, he can do a little something.
Right.
And then also the rookie, Woody Marks, hopefully. I heard you say you ain't give up on DP, but I done gave up on DP too.
Y'all done with Damian Pierce?
Look, he's good, but I feel like the Texans done gave up on DP, lucky.
Well, why is he still on the roster? Why is he still? I'm asking Casario, if y'all have given up on him, what the hell is he doing on the roster? Because I know you've gotten phone calls for him.
Yeah.
So at least move off of him, get the draft picks, and let's do something else to address, whether it's wide receiver or upgraded. Like, we can be doing something else with that capital. Him just sitting on there, I think this is it. But go ahead. I'm not ready to give up.
I agree with you. I didn't understand why he didn't get more PT last year. Like, it didn't.
40 carries.
I was sick and tired of seeing Uncle Bawale on the field. Like, honestly, like, I don't care about no he's a good catcher off the backfield. I'm not trying to hear none of that. I don't want to see that man on the field at all unless it's special teams. If it ain't special teams, third downs, have Nick Chubb, have Woody Marks, or even DP. But I'm sick and tired of seeing the Wale on this field on third downs. It frustrates me. I just don't get it. I never got it.
Crenshaw, you have anything to add about Joe Mixon?
Well, I agree with Stan. Outside of Coldridge, he is the second best player on the offense. He is the heart and soul. Um, a lot of people fell in love with Nick Chubb name, not his game. They didn't look at him the last 2 years. The last 2 years, he's injured. And when he came back, he was awful. So they're going by the name, and they figure like, oh, we got Nick Chubb. We gonna eat. We gonna eat. I don't know. I wanted to get the guy that Denver signed. I can't think his name from Houston. The
JK?
running back.
JK.
Yeah, they got
J.K.
J.K.
Dobbins.
Dobbins, yeah.
That's what I wanted because he was younger. I feel like we could get more years out of him. That's what I wanted. So I wasn't really too fond with the Nick Chubb signing, but it is what it is. We need Joe to at least play 15 games this year. At least 15 games this year for this team to do what we want them to do. To me, the only way we can get to AFC Championship if we have the number 1 or number 2 seed because we need 2 home games hosting to get to the AFC Championship. Because they're going on the road, it ain't gonna cut it.
Yep.
It ain't gonna cut it.
Yep. Well, and I'm glad y'all all are saying heart and soul. We're also forgetting these players meetings. Who's the guy who set them all up? Joe Mixon. So that tells you that he cares about this team and that he doesn't want to sit around and us be mediocre, right? Like he sees what we see, right? He sees that window, and it's slow. Well, it's not slow no more. It's almost shut. Like he sees it and he wants it. He wants it now.
I think when you look at, and I just heard Mina Kimes and Dan Orlovsky on their podcast, on Mina's podcast, they put the numbers to what we've all seen. Look how critical the running back, there's a resurgence of the running back. Look how critical the running back has been, what Saquon has done in Philly, what Derrick Henry did in Baltimore, what Josh Jacobs has done in Green Bay. I mean, obviously what Joe has done here. Like, you start going around the league and what these running backs are doing when they had to fight, scratch, and claw for their paper. And it's like the in vogue thing in the league now, it used to be RPO. They moved away from the RPO, and now it's condensed formation, bringing people closer to the football. And now you're still going to have your motions. You're going to have bunch formations, your 4x1s, and things of that nature. But right now, people are running the football because everybody's out there playing these big nickels. Everybody's playing big nickel on defense. And if you're going to have these coverage corners, cool. I'm going to line up in pass formations, but I'm going to run the football out of it, and I'm going to run it at your throat, and you're going to have to stop it over the course of 55, 60, 65 snaps, and most cover corners just aren't built for that, i.e. Sauce Gardner. So it would behoove the Texans, and I think this is where they're going. The offensive line, granted, none of those guys, those new pieces, have graded well. I still don't know what the hell is going on. We're out of time, I know, but I don't know what the hell is going on. Why Jake Andrews, just because he got drafted in New England, has come in and kicked Jared Patterson, who's got 18 career starts at the position, including 2 playoff games and a win last year. Like, why the hell are y'all kicking Patterson out for this Jake Andrews? But anyway, bringing in these dudes that none of them graded well, but it's easier to run block than it is pass block. I think when you load up on that backfield and you go get the offensive line that they've gotten, bigger, more stout dudes, I think they're telling us it's going to be a healthy dose of Joe Mixon, Chubb, and whoever else, Woody Marks, and whoever else, and they're going to relieve the pressure from CJ that standpoint. The problem, what if that O-line is what they graded out last year? I don't know what the backup plan is.
Right. No, it makes sense too, right? Like, cause like Woody Marks, somebody told me, I forget who it was, but it's a crazy stat. His sophomore year at Mississippi State, he had 80 receptions as a running back. 80 receptions. That's crazy. I mean, that's a receiver don't even get those, right? Yeah. So like, I see what you're saying too. Like, the same person told me that he reminds them of Kevin Falk, and I see it now, right? Like
where did Kevin Falk play professionally?
New England,
with Brady.
Exactly. And I think that's what we're trying to do is is quick passes, have the running back dump and dive and run the ball down your throat. I think that's what they're trying to do. We just
And
gotta
then
see it,
you
believe
play,
it.
you play action off of that, and you take your shots with Nico and Higgins and Kirk in the slot. This is going to be a lot of 1-2-3 ball out.
Yeah, agree. And hopefully that works out. We just gotta fingers crossed here.
Yeah, and you know what else that does when you play that way? See, if I'm 1-2-3 ball out and I get the ball to Christian Kirk on a 3-yard dig or a 5-yard dig, to me, that's just a handoff. That's a run play. We just toss the ball out there to him. But what it does is it shrinks the game. You keep Mahomes and Lamar and Josh Allen from having the football because the clock is on our side. We got to win time of possession, and we're going to methodically push the ball down the field. We're going to be patient. CJ's decision making, all of us trust it, I do believe. We're going to wait for you. That's why New England won. Last thing, and I'll shut up. That's why New England is so successful. It's Belichick and it's Brady, but what's the philosophy? The philosophy is to be sound in all three phases, and you wait patiently for the other team to do something dumb. Bill Parcells used to say, more games are lost than won in the National Football League, and I believe that's still the case.
I mean, IE, you just gave IE Sauce Gardner. I give IE Atlanta Falcons Super Bowl. Like, I mean, 21-3. I mean, everybody's like, this game's over with.
28-3.
28-3, yeah.
Oh, yeah, 28-3. You're right. Yeah, so, like, you know, you're exactly right. And that, this hope, the only thing, you're right. More games are lost than won, right? It's all about execution. If we get executed right, hopefully this personnel can get it. That's all we need is execution. Not just from the players, but from the coaches too. So again, here's fingers crossing. Training camp starts next week, Stan?
Yeah, this is what's the night? Wednesday night. The first practice is 2 weeks from today.
2 weeks from so just I can't wait, man.
Yeah.
To me, I love baseball, but man, this got to be like the most boring time in sports. Like it's terrible. Like I turned the TVs on Sports Center at work today, and they're out there playing tennis. I'm like, yeah, football has to come, man. I can't take it no more.
It's tough. We got 50 some odd days until we get college football. You got the Hall of Fame game coming up, I believe, in 2 weeks.
July 30th.
Yeah, okay, the end of the month.
Yeah.
And so you're gonna have some teams reporting to training camp. I think that's the Lions and the Chargers. I think one of those LA teams and the Lions, I think, is the Hall of Fame game.
Right. You are right.
You'll get some guys reporting to training camp around around the 16th. But the last thing again, I said that like 2 things ago.
Yeah.
I'm optimistic.
Good.
Yeah, I'm optimistic about this season. I really am. I think they'll win the division. Great. I think they will host a playoff game. They'll probably win that. But can you finally get over the hump? Will those rookies play like rookies on the road in those moments? How do the Texans play when it's cold outside? They haven't fared well when it's gotten cold outside. So you start talking about the fact is CJ Stroud, is he going to get gun shy? He got his ass whooped last year. Wasn't his fault. Totally. Held on to the ball a little longer on some things, just trying to do too much and make a play. But, like, I'm waiting to see, can D'Amico galvanize everybody? And can he elevate the entire program? Because that's what the great coaches do. We'll see. I feel they have a chance, and I think that's all any NFL market can ask for. Just give us a chance.
Absolutely. Well, let's take the wise words of Kershaw. This is the worst part of the podcast because it's the end. Stan, why don't you tell everybody where we can find you on social media, what you got cooking? That way we can support you like always.
Hey, man, I'm on that old Twitter X at Stan Sportsman. I appreciate it. I was laying low for a little bit coming off the local radio gig, but still the hot takes. I assure you, I spent a lot of time in looking at the data and watching the film and making some phone calls. So I'm not going to always tell you what you want to hear, but as the dust settles, you'll find that more often than not, you got accurate information and you were entertained along the way. So at Stan Sportsman on Twitter X, I'm currently doing 2 shows a week. Locked On Podcast Network, the Locked On Texans Squad Show. So go to my social, you'll see the latest episodes.
Absolutely, we love the show, the family of the podcast. Stan, man, thank you for everything you
appreciate y'all, man.
We're definitely gonna have to get you back on before the season starts to get some of those flaming hot takes because we got some too. So definitely need that one. Till
All right,
then,
bro. Y'all give me a shout anytime. Appreciate Chef B.
yes, sir.
Crenshaw, man. Y'all boys keep doing work. I see you.
Yes, sir. You stay blessed.
Peace to you.
All right. Keno, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you and what you got cooking? That way we can support you.
Y'all can follow me on X and YouTube and TikTok at Here King Out. I'm cooking up videos here and there. Of course, about Boston. Shout out to the Rockets. You know what I'm saying? We just made a big trade to get Kevin Durant on the squad. So, you know what I'm saying? Got some good stuff for that. And yeah, man, y'all continue to support the Texas Fan Battle podcast. Football season is near. And man, it's definitely gonna get excited, more exciting as, you know what I'm saying, training camp comes and I'm gonna be in that thing. So y'all be on the lookout. We're gonna give away some practice tickets. And we're gonna do a little something. We ain't got it settled yet, but we're gonna do a little something, give away some practice tickets. That's it from me. And yeah, go Texans.
And don't let this man be, give this man some flowers where it's due. His birthday is next week on the 15th. So make sure y'all show him some love because this dude, regardless of what these Packers, Rams, and Ravens fans say, this dude knows his stuff. Akeem's the GOAT, and the Texans will one day win the Super Bowl. But
Yeah.
also, make sure you follow our brother Crenshaw at Fifth Ward Crenshaw everywhere. Honcho at H-Town, Honcho 713, Texans TV everywhere. And of course, man, follow the show, Texans Fan Battle. Like Kendall said, we're going to give a little gift. About that time, we should start giving because the season's right around the corner. Maybe some new merch, maybe some training camp passes. So but make sure you are around to get those. And you can follow me at A1Day1 Texans. Till next week, stay blessed, stay humbled, and stay hydrated. It's hotter than the motherfucker out there.
For sure.
Till then, let's go Texans.
I'ma calm down.